So, my journey from being a student visa holder to becoming an investor, it's been tough, it's been messy, and honestly, it's been life-changing. But let me start with the biggest truth I've learned. No one is self-made. People like to say, I did it all on my own. But if we're honest, that's never true. If you're an employee making big money, who got you there? Your managers, your mentors, your employers, the people who showed you how to do the job. If you say, I learned everything by myself, then who wrote the books? Who recorded the tutorials? If you learned from Google or AI, then who built those platforms? And if you're an entrepreneur, let's be real, your customers are the ones who gave you success. So yeah, I don't believe in being self-made, and my story proves why. When I first came to Australia, I was a student earning about 17,000 a year. Not much at all. Fast forward to last financial year, I made $220,000. And I now own multiple investment properties, both here and overseas. But the money isn't the whole story. The journey to get there was the real lesson. First, I had to learn to be tough. Moving to a new country sounds exciting, but it's hard, really hard. You lose your sense of belonging, and even though I had family here, I didn't want to burden them. I wanted to stand on my own. The reason I came here was because of my best friend. He told me about all the good things in Australia, but he left out the sleepless nights, the paycheck-to-paycheck living, the constant worry about tuition fees. I had to find that out the hard way, and honestly, those struggles nearly broke me, but they also built me. Then I had to learn optimism. That was even harder. There were times I thought I was fine, maybe even happy, and suddenly I'd just break down. I remember being in the gym, lifting weights, and out of nowhere, tears started running down my face. I had to grab a towel, pretend I was wiping sweat off my bald head, just to hide it. Those tears weren't running. They were all the emotions I'd been bottling up, because when you're just trying to survive, you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. Self-pity doesn't pay rent. Doubt doesn't cover your tuition. So when life stared me down, when I felt I was drowning, I fought back. I fought back in the only way I knew how. I'd shout Muhammad Ali's words, I'll show you how great I am. Might sound silly, but every time I said it, something inside me shifted. The problems didn't vanish, but I got just enough strength to keep standing. And sometimes, that's all you need. Just enough to make it through the week. Another big lesson, humility. I took whatever jobs I could find. I cleaned vomit out of carpets, picked up human waste in hotel rooms, even ate leftovers that guests left behind after checkout. When there was nothing else, I ate expired food just to fill my stomach. And you know what? Humility saved me. Pride wasn't going to put food on the table. Ego wasn't going to pay my tuition. But humility, doing whatever needed to be done, that's what kept me moving forward. And then, the hardest part, asking for help. For someone like me, that was brutal. I started working young, like many kids do in Asia. When you grow up like that, you carry the world on your shoulders. You learn to be independent, to be strong. Asking for help feels like weakness, like admitting defeat. But I had no choice. I asked God for strength. I asked my mom, even when she was struggling herself, and she still gave without expecting anything back. I asked my friends for job leads, my relatives for food, which honestly crushed my pride. I asked professors to guide me, and I asked my managers to mentor me. And eventually, I had to ask myself for something too, forgiveness. To forgive the mistakes I'd made, let go of failures, and keep moving. But every time I asked, I grew. And through all of that, I learned wisdom. Wisdom isn't just about knowing things. It's about surviving things. It's about going through the kind of trials that could break you and coming out stronger. I realized my struggles weren't punishments. They were preparation. They were gifts meant to shape me. To survive as a migrant is one thing. To thrive, that's only for a few. And I believe I was meant to walk this path, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. Wisdom gave me gratitude. Gratitude for the good and the bad. For the hunger, the tears, the humiliation, the small wins, and the big breakthroughs. Gratitude taught me that saying, I am great, is really just one step away from saying, I am grateful. And that's what I want to leave you with. These are the lessons from my journey. If even one part of this helps someone who's struggling with their own story right now, then sharing mine has already been worth it.